Hello, and welcome to another Owl Podlet, a supplemental piece of content for our main feed, the Owl Pod. This week, Anne is gone once again, along with next week, so we'll have two Podlets in a row. But I do have Robert here with me.
Hi.
Yeah, so this week, keeping on with the weird anime and animation train that we've done for all of these Podlets so far, we're going to go over my anime list. And
this is way better. I thought you were just going to start at the top 100. Oh, that's perfect. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you could dunk on my takes because we've said before, you are the anime guy. You have watched so much anime that you hate 90% of it. And I haven't. I have apparently only seen or started watching 40 anime, according to my list.
Wow, only 40.
Yeah. A pretty small list in comparison to the true weebs out there. I guess I'll just go ahead and start sharing. And then we can... What's up?
Do you want me to adhere what I was going to do? Because I was going to go, yes, no, because we were doing it. But if it's yours, I guess I have to give you more of an explanation, maybe?
Oh. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll talk about why I placed it there, and then you can say... What do you think about the anime? We can just discuss our differences in opinions.
I want you to give me your full take before I even say a word.
Okay.
I want that to be... Okay.
We'll start at the bottom, because I think that's more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look good? I know my internet's kind of shit.
Yeah, I can see it. I can read it.
Okay, that's good.
You could also say it aloud, and I would also just know what it is.
That's also probably true. So, starting at the bottom with number 40... I have Kill la Kill. This is an anime I watched the first episode of, and I gave it a 3 out of 10. I didn't like it. It was really weird. Maybe I could watch it. I watched this a long time ago, but I was like, what is this? I'm not into this. So yeah, it's just weird and strange. It was like off-putting. I don't know what was up with it.
Is that your full take? You only watched one episode, that's true.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and was just like, bro, what?
So, here's my take for you. Given that you've only watched a single episode of that anime, and you're rating it, you are 100% correct. I think that if you would watch the full thing, it would be higher, but because you only watched one episode, I'm not going to blame you for that rating, because that was my first initial reaction. I went, this is really weird, and doesn't make sense to me. And then I got exposed to a bunch of other weird things, and then I came back and I went, this isn't really as weird as I thought it was. And then, I got shocked by a bunch of other things. But yeah, also, I don't know. Because I will tell you this, is that Kill la Kill has a weird thing where it starts off going, oh, this is just some weird thing, and then it turns into Evangelion. Which, I don't know if you've seen Evangelion.
I haven't actually, but I know about it.
You know enough about it to know that seems like a very strange transition.
Does seem bizarre.
Yeah, it turns into Evangelion in a way. You know, it develops, it somehow becomes... It's one of those things where you really can't judge it on your first look. But also, given that you only watched the first episode, that was my reaction too. I didn't turn it on for another really long time, until I literally had nothing else to watch. And then I was like, wow, don't judge a book by its cover. It's very weird, very oddly sexual cover. Yeah. But I don't know. I would say continue watching it at some point if you ever, are dying, because there are better things to watch. But it's also Studio Trigger, which...
Okay, I know the name. They're known for having, really great animation.
Yeah, so keep that in mind when you're, giving when you're judging it. You're like, oh, so this studio decided that they were going to work on this.
Okay.
Out of all things. So, they made their choice and made that instead of, something else. So, just keep that in mind. They also made Little Witch Academy, by the way. I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't think I've even heard of that.
I don't know. I was going to say, imagine if... I would say it actually is kind of oddly similar tonally to Owl House, actually. But
ooh, okay.
I hadn't thought about that in a while. They had a movie made at some point, and then it turned into a TV show because I really liked the movie. But
Okay.
and they also did Cyberpunk Edge Runner.
Oh, I've heard that's
I
awesome. I haven't watched that.
Yeah, so I think they also did stuff for Visions and Star Wars.
Yeah, so yeah, I did watch.
I think
they did the second episode.
I think they did like I don't know.
I forget which episode they did. They did the twins episode.
Okay, I think they did more than one, by the way. So just FYI.
Okay, that's also possible. You know. Yeah, I like Star Wars Visions. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but I love. Man, we should do that next week, maybe. I really like Star Wars Visions, at least the first season.
Yeah, I haven't seen Star Wars Visions at all, so I would happily watch some of that.
There we go.
But yeah, your rating is valid, but also it will move if you ever watch it again.
Okay. Well, going to the next thing, Dragon Ball Z Kai. A couple episodes ago, I talked about how I started watching this, and now I've dropped it. I've placed it at a 4 out of 10. It's a bit below par. I just came to realize the pacing is too slow. I don't even think it would work in the manga. It's just they're just sitting there, they're talking, the fights, like a single encounter, I guess, because not even one fight in a single encounter. They're just in one field for a long time. Mm-hmm. I kind of liked it when there's not a fight scene going on. I got through 13 episodes of it, and then I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think I have time for this.
I think that it says a lot about Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is supposed to be, the shortened version of Dragon Ball Z, and you still said it was too slow. Mm-hmm. And I think you pretty much summed it up right there. I really have nothing else to say on the matter.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the original Dragon Ball a long time ago. I got really far into it, and then I was just kind of like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like...
I'm gonna be honest, Team 4-Star just did it perfectly. That entire thing gets you all the way through the Cell arc, and it's like 12 hours of content. That's it. That's all you need. And it's perfect. Even that feels slow at times because Dragon Ball's crazy. People love it. I don't know. I don't. I could like it. There's a universe where I could like it, but not the way it's presented now.
I assume that a lot of people who watch Dragon Ball Z Kai and liked it would be upset with you with your take. But I also think that those people are people who were like, oh, the original is slow. So for them, this is like, whoa, they really cut out a lot. And they're having like a, no.
And I guess I have the opposite, since I started with the abridged series, and then this is slower than that, so... Yeah, who knows? Maybe if I never saw that, this would be more tolerable.
It's all about perspective, and my perspective is I agree with you.
Yeah, so that's that. Kind of unfortunate.
This is all the anime you've watched?
Yeah.
By the way, we're going over? I just want to know.
I believe I have everything I've ever watched on here.
Whenever you jump up to the next number, by the way, rating, you should say so. Because you're going to have a lot that are grouped together, I assume, with the same rating.
Okay, yeah. So this is, the last 4 out of 10. This is the second anime I ever watched, which I think hurt its rating. This is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. A very classic shoujo. But I watched this right after watching Clanad, which is one of my favorite animes ever, so I think that really hurt this one's placement. I don't remember it very much, it was so long ago, but I was just like, this is not as good as Clanad, therefore I don't like it as much. Did you see this one?
This one? I have never seen it. I know it has more than one season, though, right?
It has, I watched both seasons. Did it also
get a movie?
Yeah, it also got a movie. I think people said the movie was really good.
I cannot speak to anything about this movie. I will say, though, that I have a personal bias when it comes to things from this time period because I hate how they were drawn. I do not like the eyes. They bother me.
Oh, I do like the eyes. I love huge anime eyes. I think it looks so cool.
I'm fine with huge anime eyes and it being like stylized, and that's totally fine. But also sometimes they like make them really big, and then they put them like right on the edges of the face, and I'm like, what? I can't. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm like, what am I looking at? Yeah. There's that whole thing about like anime like is supposed to kind of look like it's supposed to be kind of like cat. You know what I mean? Like anime characters supposed to kind of look like cats or something.
Okay, I can see that.
some people say that. I don't know how the validity of that comment, but like the reason that people like they're drawn the way they are and like all that. But like I don't know. I have a personal bias. I will. Yeah, what's it about? Why don't you tell me?
So,
because it might fall into a category that I know.
All right, so this is based off my memory from 10 years ago, maybe longer. Well, how old am I? I am 24. Probably 10 years ago.
I have to ask myself that
question. Yeah.
It looks like it aired in 2009.
Apparently.
FYI.
I didn't watch it new. I watched it on YouTube because that's how I watched anime back then. So it is a shoujo, right? So it's marketed toward, I think it is anyway, it's marketed towards young girls. It follows our main guy protagonist in high school. And he meets this girl, Haruhi Suzumiya, who is bonkers bananas. She's, I think, like,
insane.
She is the, manic pixie dream girl, I think, is what you would say.
Okay, wait. I don't know if you're using that one right.
I think I am. Well, I guess it's not entirely right because there's not really a romantic relationship between the guy and the girl. I don't know how else to describe. She's bonkers. She's just bananas cuckoo. From what I remember.
So she's got like the. Okay, the question is that this technically isn't a definitive sign, but it's like is the hair dyed?
No.
Okay.
She has natural.
But
hair.
you're like. But she's like the quirky type.
She's a very quirky person for sure.
Consistently, always like positive-ish. Consistently-ish. Like.
From my memory of her, she's a little more like kind of in some ways kind of rude and abrasive. But I don't know if that's even the right word. She's strange.
Well, I think you're right.
Anyway,
she's strange. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's go with yes. She's a manic pixie dream girl.
I guess, yeah. As memory serves, she's like, man, life sucks. Life is boring. Wouldn't it be cool if we could meet ghosts, aliens, and time travelers? And then they make a friend group with a ghost, an alien, and a time traveler. And it's kind of revealed slowly that each of them is unique in some way. And they just have wacky adventures. I think
friends with a ghost?
Yeah, one of them is like a phantom or something. It's another guy. He does stuff. What happens in season 1 even? What do they do? I think at some point they go inside of a computer and fight a giant ant.
I love that Scooby-Doo movie. Cyberspace. It's a great movie. Cyberspace. Amazing. No, but that's what happens in that movie. Go fight a big baseball planet.
Yeah. I remember season 2 more, because season 2, in some ways, was way worse, because most of season 2 was like a time loop, where the same episodes happened over and over again, basically. But they did that for like 8 episodes in a row, so it got really old. But like there were still cool moments in there, like when they figure out that they're in a time loop. Like it was a really cool like reveal and stuff, and like a really neat, I don't know. They had good music, good suspense music. Yeah?
Do you remember, like, during the 8 episodes, like, at what period through those 8 episodes the time loop was revealed? Because it was supposed to, like, kind of concealed from the... This anime might be... I don't know. I would say that you rated this at a 4, and based on what you're telling me, it sounds unique enough for a slice of life that, like...
Yeah, no, I think this is
like,
a
make it clear at the beginning? My personal bias aside... It doesn't sound too bad. Maybe not for me, but...
Yeah, the time loop. Yeah, no, it's not revealed at all, actually, I think. Or, like, I think you just have to pick up on the fact that it's the same episode again. Because initially, when I was watching on YouTube, I was like, didn't I just watch this? But there's, like, subtle changes in, like, costuming.
Oh, gotcha.
So
they don't...
Yeah, it just goes on for too long. I think if it was maybe half the length, it would have been a really cool narrative device. But that was also, season 2 things. I don't think I rated season 2, or technically. Maybe I just clumped them together as one thing here, is what I was thinking.
So it was like at an 8, and then you dropped it to like a 4?
I don't know. Probably more like a 3 and a 5, and it came down to a 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay, anyway, I guess that's that. I assume you probably haven't seen any shoujos. Or very few.
I mean, let me think. if we're talking shoujo, I mean, does Nichijou count as a shoujo, right?
Oh, I guess it does, yeah.
Nichijou is top tier.
Nichijou is good. Yes. I actually don't have Nichijou on this list, I realize, because I haven't finished it yet. But I'll put it on when I finish it.
Alright. Let's move to the next
one. Yeah, next one. Next one is an anime called Guilty Crown. I don't remember this at all. I guess I thought it was a 5 out of 10. I only saw 3 episodes. I think I remember a friend telling me it was really, really good, and it was like a sad anime. I wanted to watch it, but I didn't ever finish it. Have you seen this?
I'm looking at images of it right now, and I could be wrong in making incorrect judgments, but this anime looks like it has no life to me.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but like I've consumed enough now that I've never seen this, and it could be a snap judgment. I could be totally wrong, but I don't know. It's like this thing happens a lot of the time, especially on my anime list, that animes that range around like the like I can't tell anything about like an anime that ranges like from like the 7, like from like 8 to 6 is just like a nothing anime most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair.
Like, some people watched it, they really liked it, they gave it a rating. Some people really were just kind of like, it's I don't know. It's like 8 and above is where you start to see stuff that's like, okay, interesting, cultural, like relevant thing. This okay, this aired in 2012, so I would have been 12 years old. So we're definitely not in like a range where I was probably watching anime.
Actually, while we're going over these, can you pull up the My Anime, like what the average is on My Anime list for each of these, and we can compare how I feel to the average people?
Yeah, the average for Guilty Crown is about a 7.4.
Okay, so yeah, people like it, but it doesn't seem like it broke any ground.
I will say that with most rating systems, actually anything below an 8 and like within that range is like a strange like system. But also rating systems for most like movies that you have in America or like TV shows are also like broken because like Rotten Tomatoes makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And also it's the opinions of a bunch of strangers on the internet. It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, like for instance, the way I grade things for parody is a 5 is something that was like fine. I didn't dislike it, but I also don't really think about it too hard. Anything below a 5 is increasingly not enjoying. Anything above a 5 is increasingly enjoying. So a 6 is actually a pretty positive score for me.
Apparently, like there's a weighted score. They give it weighted scores, but it's been scored by over 625,000 users.
It's a lot of people.
Has come out to the indicated average weighted score. I want to figure out how they do the weighted scores. I literally just finished tutoring a stats class. So, let's see how they calculate it. The weighted score is the average number for the anime/manga, so S. This is an insane equation. V is supposed to be the number of users given a score for the anime manga. Okay, all right, that's kind of interesting. So they when actually giving the weighted score on the website, it's totally off track here, but when they give the weighted score on the website, they actually like take into the account that the mean value isn't going to actually be at a 5, right?
Yeah.
Because because you know it's like people are going to be rating things with a bias because they're going to be like, and I don't mean that they're going to be rating with their own bias. I mean that they will choose to rate something, and that in and of itself is a bias. I wonder. I want to figure out how that mean value is being thrown into the equation, but yeah, 7.4. It's the weighted score. I'm interested if they could show what the actual score was, because that would show how that changes, but you don't get to see that data, sadly. I will say that popularity is ranked at 109, but it's ranked on the top anime page at about 2,000. This unknown anime that I've actually, like, never heard of.
Okay. Well, yeah, an anime that I don't remember you've never heard of.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and all the episode titles... Man, I would not recommend this just based on the glance. It just seems like a waste of time.
Fair. Anyway, I guess we should move on to something I could actually talk about, because I remember because I saw it recently.
My bad. That was our trial stats episode right there that we were looking at. That was the anime to compare using statistics. All right.
Next up, at 36, I have My Neighbor Totoro. Gave it a 5 out of 10 as well. Do you have the average for...
When did you watch it?
I watched it fairly recently. I watched it in the theater with Ryan. And the thing is, like a 5, it's a positive experience, but it's kiddie. It's for kids for sure. It's not really in my wheelhouse anymore. Do you have the average for this?
Yeah, the average is pretty much exactly what I would expect it. It's above 8. It's 8.25.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's
ranked at about 300.
It was good. It's for kids. It's not really my kind of thing. I haven't seen very many Ghibli films. This was one I saw recently, and, it's fine, but not for me, really. Moving on.
No, we can't move on yet.
Oh, you have more to say. Okay.
I have more to say about My Neighbor Totoro. First of all, it's genuinely, you are correct. If you had watched it when you were little, you would have liked it a lot more watching it. I can say that is a definitive thing with a lot of Ghibli films, is that people are like, oh, I saw this one, I loved it, but all the other ones I watched, I wasn't, like, super big fan. I'm like, well, when did you watch it? And they're like, oh, yeah, when I was, like, 10 years later. It's like, well, yeah, it's not for you at that point. But then again, you should watch other Studio Ghibli films, because there are ones that I know you will like, purely because they aren't for children.
Yeah, no, I've seen some others, so there's others on this list that are higher. Yeah, that's on this list, it's higher up.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so yes. I was going to say that, but yeah, I would say that your rating is valid personally, but I think objectively it deserves to be a bit.
Fair. All right, now we can move on to another shoujo. When I was young, I watched a lot of shoujos. This is Air. This is, I think, by the same studio that made Clannad, which was my first anime ever. This one, worse than Clannad. It's just, it's a 12 episodes, another romance thing. Yeah, it was fine, I guess. 5 out of 10, I guess, makes sense.
I got nothing really to say about it. It's
What is the user average?
The average rating is a 7.28.
Okay. A lot of 7s in this world.
Yeah, like I said, my personal experience is that if it's below 8, I'm like, time of day is hard to give.
Okay.
Then again.
You just move on from this one. No reason to linger on it. Next up, we have a big one. We got Naruto. I watched 120 episodes of this. Again, also probably 10-ish years ago. Actually, some friends of mine recently started watching it on Discord with, like, streaming. And I've watched with them a little bit. And I think this should be lower, probably, based off of what I've seen. Wow, Naruto!
Yeah. No need to jump in here, but yeah!
My memory of Naruto is a lot more positive than what I watched recently. Like, oh my god, it's pretty bad, actually.
And you gave it a 5.
Yeah,
and it's worse than you watching it.
I remember this one. Okay, I hate in all media, like, tell versus show, right? You're supposed to show, don't tell. There is this scene where Naruto and Sasuke, and they had a really interesting outplay on a really strong enemy, and you could see visually what was happening. It was like, oh, that's really clever. And then they stopped the episode and explained to the audience what they just did, even though we just saw it. I hate that American Horror Story did similar things with, like, they showed you something that you could understand, and then they told you about it anyway. I hate that stuff. I'm smart enough to see what's with my eyeballs. I can see what is you don't need to explain it to me. I have a brain and eyes.
I will say I agree with you, and I have something to say about that as well. But I also want to read your review that you left on your list for just the beginning portion. You said, I just kind of fell off. And I want to let you know that you didn't fall off. The anime did. So just to remind you that... Also, people talk about Naruto Shippuden being better. I do not want to watch 220 episodes of an anime just so I can watch another anime that I don't care about. Or I have no reason to care about. It might be better, but I'm not watching 220 episodes of... I say that like One Piece isn't literally 1,000 episodes of exposition. But I mean, not exposition, I mean, like, how would I put it? Lore dump, and now we're finally getting into the One Piece part of it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I just thought about it a while ago. I was like, Anyway, but yeah, I was gonna say, the best part that I remember from the original Naruto is when fucking Rock Lee fucking takes his fucking weights off. That was the coolest part. That's true. That was... memory serves it was cool. I bet if I watch it now, I'd be like, this sucks. It's in 4x3, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I would say also, the show don't tell thing, I agree with you about 90% of the time. There are contexts in which you should be telling, but aside from that, it's very weird. In the context of the telling, I saw an application of it recently that I actually did like, and maybe people will disagree with me. Have you ever seen The Hateful Eight?
I did not watch it, no.
You did not watch it? Okay, I thought you were going to say I did not like it, and I was like, all right. There we have it. No. There's a particular part in the middle of it, which I don't think this was really a spoiler because it's kind of just an aspect. Quentin Tarantino himself, the director of the movie, starts doing narration.
There's just in the middle randomly?
In the middle of the movie, because it's divided into acts. In the very beginning of the act, he basically goes, while this whole thing was happening and we were watching this, somebody poisoned the coffee. And then he shows like a little dark hand going on screen and pouring it in. And the reason is because the movie specifically is like almost emulating a play-like structure.
Okay.
So, which is kind of this whole thing. It's not explicitly doing it. There's not a fucking curtains riding or thing. It's like it's playing a lot of like, because the whole thing with Quentin Tarantino is he does like fucking homage films, right?
Yeah.
So he specifically will pick a genre and then like run into it a lot. Like I don't know if you've seen any of his movies, but like
I haven't actually. I should though. Some of them at least.
Okay. They're good, but like they're all essentially like he has like a whole thing where he's got like 10 or fucking movies planned or something, right? Like he's like ever since like he started making his first movie, he's like I got 10 movies in me, and then he's like been slowly going through them, and they've all been pretty good. That was the one case where I was like recently where I was like I actually liked the narration and it kind of added something because he like just in the middle of the movie, you just hear this music kind of chime in, and he's like talks about everything that's happening. And then he meant, because it's like the whole idea is that it's sort of like almost a mystery. You would actually love that movie. I will warn you though, if you watch the extended version, it's about 4 hours long.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's a 3-hour movie at like, if you just watch the original. And it's all, by the way, it's a 1-room movie.
Okay.
So it's like a single room kind of thing.
I mean, if he's emulating a play, plays are often like 3 or 4 hours, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's all in one stage.
Yeah.
The entire time. Yeah,
okay.
No, it's a good movie. But it's the one context in which I felt narration was good. And that comes from me having to deal with, like, I imagine you were getting that Dragon Ball Z narration, and that was irritating.
That actually... did that bother me? There was other things about Dragon Ball that were bothering me more than the narration. That was unintrusive, just popped up at the beginning and the end, and it was like, okay.
Fair. I think that Mob Psycho does it at the beginning as well of the anime. I don't really recall it doing it that much as you go further into the anime. Which is kind of an interesting thing, because they do a lot of like beginning sort of exposition, and I think that's just because the show don't tell of that is kind of like genuinely the most dense portion of Mob Psycho's narration I think we could talk about is the very beginning, where he's like explaining the fact that Mob has trauma. Mm-hmm. And then they just don't want to do an entire episode going over it, so they narrate it instead. and that's just kind of the deal. And then that sort of decreases as time goes on, but I think you still get it from time to time. I think in the last season there was like an alien episode where that was happening, but yeah, Naruto, fuck it. Guy, it's overrated garbage. It does not deserve to be considered part of the big three. Actually, Dragon Ball is also part of the big three. You know what? The big three the big three is Bleach too. No, never mind. Yeah, they all belong together. Yeah.
You say that One Piece is the only good one out of all the major long-running shonens?
None of those three have any like stake in One Piece, and I never said One Piece was good. Anyway, no, okay. He's genuine. The dude who's running One Piece genuinely has. No, it's good. It's silly, but it's good. I don't know. Right. I think the thing about One Piece that I like is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It gave itself one serious moment right before the time skip, and then pretty much everything after that has been, and before that has been pretty much very silly. And it doesn't take itself too seriously. Naruto, Bleach, and fucking Dragon Ball all take themselves way too seriously. Dragon Ball technically is the least of the offenders, but Bleach and Naruto, I don't know. I could never get, like, they could never hype me up. That's it,
That's fair.
It's like the whole point of those is supposed to be kind of like they're like hype,
Mm-hmm.
And they just weren't doing it for me. All right, yeah.
Okay. We can move on to now my number 33. We're into 6 out of 10s now. This is an anime from Netflix called Eden. It's a very short anime, only 4 episodes. I watched it because the music is phenomenal. Let me actually pull up who did the music because it's something that is worth everyone knowing. Kevin Pinkin. I think he was the same guy who did... Yeah, he did the music for Made in Abyss, which is an anime I think you said you like.
I like season 1.
Okay.
It does a lot of weird stuff.
Yes.
But...
So yeah, the music for Made in Abyss I haven't heard, but the music for Eden, I really loved it. It's beautiful, like, haunting music with, like, really good vocals and just instrumental. It's great. And the cover reminded me of Clanad. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. It turned out it was kind of not great, unfortunately.
Eden?
Yeah, or... Eden. On my anime list, looks like it's Eden, parentheses, ONA.
Mm-hmm.
What is...
It has an average rating of 6.38.
Yeah, so...
but once again, I will remain constant that those scores actively compressing a bunch of data for whatever reason into a single number is never an indicator of its actual quality. For all we know, this could be biased because Netflix has a habit of, people having people not really like the stuff they put out for anime.
Yeah.
Which is valid because a lot of it is garbage. But
yeah. So you haven't seen this.
I haven't. I also think that there's probably a chance it declined because I personally don't like the art style of if the 3D is done like this. Yeah. It always bothers me when they're trying to, instead of using 3D as a tool to sort of further enhance an already existing art style, they're trying to extend the kind of art style that, like, into a 3D space. The 3D is taking over versus having it be more 2D. Mm-hmm. And I don't like how it's always weird. It's not stylized. It's like they're like trying to make it. I don't like how smooth a lot of the time it is.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. So anyway, the plot for this, the setting is my kind of shit. I really love this. It is a post-human world where there's only robots now. There's no more people. Mm-hmm. But the world but they're like environmental robots. So the world is lush and green and full of life. And I love that aesthetic. I think it's so cool. But then these 2 robots who are going about their work come across a baby human, and then they raise it, and like they basically learn how to be people also, kind of. They get some emotions. Mm-hmm. It's not really about the robots. It's about the young girl who's discovered. Yeah. And you just get this plot about the history of how the world ended up the way it is. I have to give it some credit because I didn't care about it like at all, really. The plot was just presented pretty poorly. But then it still got me emotionally in, I think, the second to last or last episode. Which was surprising, because I didn't think I cared about it, but I guess I cared enough to get an emotional response. So there's that. But yeah, the best thing about this, I think, is the setting. I just love that aesthetic. I love nature, and I love post-humanism. So
that is valid. I think that I play my own biases, and the story doesn't necessarily... I will say that I've seen the story a lot in just media in general, so it's probably going to be hard to like beat out, especially considering this is what it aired in 2021. I want to let you know this is literally the plot of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
With no humans.
No, I love... I like Horizon Zero Dawn's plot also. I really liked that game and what a great plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's definitely in your alley, but I will say that like a lot of the time it's like my brain, in order to like rate something or enjoy it more, I need it to be like horribly distinct from everything else. Which is kind of an issue on my part. But 6.38, I mean, given that it's the animation style, people don't like it that much and stuff like that, that seems like pretty accurate for what I would imagine most people would be rating it as. But it also only has 7,000 people who viewed it, or rated it, so it's not necessarily popular enough to like say that maybe would be its definitive score. I would say no, though. I would be like, no.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you somehow enjoyed it. Also, I noticed you did in fact rate season 1 separately than season 2 of the anime, The Melancholy of...
I did. Okay.
Yeah. It's a 6. I just want to say that.
Okay, so I guess the one lower was maybe season 2.
And it was, yeah.
Okay, so that is what happened. Okay, interesting. So my brain
All
is
right.
somewhat consistent. All right, that's
Yeah.
up ahead a little bit. I guess we'll just kind of skip over when we get there. But
Mhm.
before that,
Mhm.
we have another Netflix anime. We have Devilman
Mhm.
Crybaby. We also gave it a 6.
Yeah.
What's the average on Mal?
It'll be higher than a 6, I'll tell you that. It's a 7.75.
Yeah. Okay. So it is approaching that 8 threshold, but not quite.
And I have also seen this. I think this is technically the first anime we both consistently watched fully then.
Wow. Yo.
We're finally getting there.
Yeah, I think I just didn't like the ending. It was I felt kind of pointless or something. It was
Can I tell you something important about this anime?
yes.
For you, you might know this already. The anime does not fully cover the context of everything that is going on in the manga.
Yes.
It is supposed to be a time loop that Satan is trapped in, perpetually losing the person that they love.
Yeah. That seems like that would be important to like understand because the way it's presented, it seems like it's not even a loop. It's just this is the course of history, and then it ends, and the world is over. But that's not what happens in the manga, and I feel like they fucked up a little bit by not including that.
Yeah, it's true. It was an anime that was literally made for people who read the manga, which is kind of a weird thing to do, especially if you're not making that clear. But I liked most of it. I liked the memes that came out of the Mr. Satan's like really overly long hand and all the cosplays that came out from that. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
I don't know if I have. I don't even remember what the guys looked like. Yeah, I guess that's probably all we need for Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay. So moving on to another anime that I think I dropped it. I say it's on hold, but I think I'm not going to come back to it. This is Assassination Classroom.
It's aight.
Okay, so you've seen this.
Fine. I've seen this. It's completely fine.
Yeah. What do you have? Maybe I can actually pull up what the average.
I can tell you, it's 80.9.
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting. Alien guy is funny. That's neat. Students can't kill him. Interesting premise where an alien is like, hey, I'm going to just destroy the world unless you can kill me. But before that, I have to teach this class of students. I never figured out who he made the promise to because I dropped off about he has to teach it. I assume it's pretty impactful and a good moment when you kind of learn more, but...
it's okay.
Okay.
it didn't hit me. You're right. It was supposed to be sort of an impactful moment. But it was okay. It has 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I think. It was a thing that existed during the time that it was running, I guess. I will say that anything about this anime, I don't know, it's like, it was probably one of the better things that was running when it was running. It was 2015, winter 2015. Yeah, a lot of there was actually a lot of good shit going down when this was airing. Never mind. We had Death Parade, if you've ever seen that airing at the same time. That was good.
Isn't that the My Chemical Romance song?
No, that's Join the Black Parade. But
what's the difference?
The difference is that you would love Death Parade. You specifically. It's about like these, after you die, there's like this like judgment thing that happens, and it literally only follows the people who like judge the people, and they all like sit in a room in a bar, and it's just like people coming up every episode, and it's like episodic, and it's like you get these 2 people who come up and they die, and they play a game or something, and then they like it's like a judgment if they're gonna go to heaven or hell every episode. It like puts a person in front of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to say much more than that, but that was airing at the same time as this, and it does have a higher rating that has 8.15. But Tokyo Ghoul also aired in this, but it has some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, stuff like that. I guess you got fucking Kuroko no Basuke season 3. Yeah, no, I don't know why this was as popular. So you even had Durarara X. Wow, that's okay.
We're gonna get. That's on my list too. We're gonna get there.
This was season 2 though. That was airing at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, no, I just it was okay. It was silly. It didn't take itself too seriously. And that's fine.
Yeah. Silly.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Silly haha.
We are entering the territory of like 6 and above and like 7 and above a lot of the time. I'm just kind of like, it existed and it was fine. It was good. Your next rating, I'm gonna take great issue with.
Okay, so yeah, the next one, Sword Art Online. This I dropped after 3 episodes because I heard it was a bad anime. But I gotta say, those first 3 episodes I thought were pretty good. It was set up a neat. I mean, I had never seen a isekai before, so it set up an interesting premise. I like video games. I like fantasy. And, they had like a fight scene that I remember being pretty good against the big boss. Those first 3 episodes, pretty solid, I gotta say.
Kiriko, the main character of Sword Art Online, is the biggest Mary Sue that's ever existed on the planet.
Well, isn't he like a gamer, though? Like, that's why he was good?
He's a gamer, and that's why he is good. Think about that. He's not a professional gamer. He's just some gamer. And he's really good. And that's actually not fair. I'm not taking issue with that as a plot point, because somebody has to be the best at something, and you're following the person who's supposedly the best in the game. That's fine. But also, it's just like... I think this was probably one of the first animes that I ever watched. It was up there. If we're not including, like, watching anime movies when I was little, like My Neighbor Totoro. Right? This is like the beginning of the age. And I watched it, and I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it. I really thought it was good. I was like, man, interesting. And then I realized how I had no brain cells. And and then upon rewatching it, and realized, I was like, maybe this is not as good as I thought it was, because it's like, I don't know. I take great issue with anime that's like another one of my biases comes out. I don't like it when it diverges from being a story and just becomes like a wish fulfillment sort of like escapism, which is fine for some people, but I don't like it when I see like 8 of those every season of anime. So I have developed a small hatred for it, and I feel like it all started with this one because Sword Art Online was so popular.
Mm-hmm. It was everywhere. Popular. Yeah.
It was everywhere. Even now, we are still getting shows that are spin-offs or shows that are after this. We actually still have chronology. I think it was like, I was going to say, one of the most recent shows, literally somebody created a virtual world and tried to create living AI creatures in it and was like torturing them. And it was like this whole thing, was actually, admittedly, which is crazy that I can't believe I'm saying this. I think that the first they somehow pivoted in a way that became interesting because they stopped him from being a Mary Sue a little bit, which was it was strange. Like the show in and of itself, but the first season of Sword Art Online. Keep in mind the manga in and of itself was like a gag manga. They totally changed. It was strange. I don't know.
Oh wait, so it was the manga was a parody, and then the anime they played it straight.
Yeah,
that's super weird.
Yeah, it is. It was like I don't know if it was a gag. Let me just check real quick. I know that it was not nearly as yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't nearly as like
not as self-serious.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I'm unsure. I know that a lot of it tonally changed though, from what I remember. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I also remember like seeing clips of like a manga and being like, this is not at all what the other thing was like, and I was like, interesting. But yeah, it's not worth watching. There's better things out there.
And this is a 7.2 overall.
7.2 on average. Yeah, and that's with 2 million reviews. The weighted score is 7.2. Anyway, yeah, not really worth watching in my opinion. People would probably I don't know. I hope no one's too attached to it. It's okay. Right. We could let's speed through. We only have so many minutes until
yeah, I mean we can go. We've been going pretty slow on the bottom part, slow. But
no, we can just keep going.
Okay. So next we have Blue Exorcist. Did you see this?
Sick. I did. I watched it, and I watched the TV show that came out after it. Because the thing is that this ended before the manga had finished the volume, so the ending is not at all like the manga at all.
Oh,
just FYI.
Okay.
Yeah, this definitely fell into a how would I put it category.
Full Metal Alchemist 2003.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically.
So yeah, this I remember liking. It's still 6 out of 10. It's like the plot is like there's special demon slaying priests who slay demons. But one of them, our protagonist, is the child of Satan, and he has Satan powers. And so there's drama. And his brother. who doesn't seem to have Satan powers at first. Maybe he gets them later. I don't remember. But yeah, so and yeah, it's cool. You know, priest slaying demons. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, I remember liking it when I first watched it. I remember everything about it. I think it's unique. It's classic shonen stuff, you know? It doesn't do what all the other... I think pretty much most anime that doesn't do what, like, Naruto does and, like, what all the other ones were doing at the time, which is, like, forcibly extending them into, like, infinity, right? Deserves some credit. And they do that in this one, and I remember watching it and enjoying it. I think that it was fine. I don't know. It didn't really, like... I remember all the characters, which is saying something. I actually remember a lot of the episodes with a lot of context as well, but I don't know why it's stuck in my brain.
Yeah. Maybe there's just something about it, maybe.
I think that there are definitely characters where I'm kind of like... I don't know. I think my favorite types of anime and literature is where I don't feel like a character was put in because they wanted to, like... What's the word when you're pleasing your fan base?
Like fan service? Kind of?
Fan service. Yeah, but fan service usually refers to, like, how would I put it? Something sexual in nature a lot of the time.
At least, yeah,
it doesn't
in terms
have
of...
to.
I feel like with anime, there's that context, but I think in other media, it's usually not necessarily that.
Yeah. Yeah, with another media, it's not necessarily that. And it doesn't matter the type of media. I don't really like if I can see it. It's kind of weird. It's like seeing the gameplay loop in a game. I don't like it. It bothers me. And I feel like definitely this one took a bit of a hit because there is definitely like fan service of both sexual and non-sexual nature in it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But overall, I think there's definitely like, it's definitely good. It like, it has this whole like attitude of like the fact that he's barely like, the main character is permanently like on the edge of being murdered by literally everybody.
Yeah.
Because the people he's working for, like, most of them just don't really fucking they see him as a tool and nothing else, and would rather just have him, like, basically be dead. I think that's basically a point that is made, because, like, they're like, if you release your fucking power and become a demon, we're going to just put you down like a dog, you know? Is, like, a plot point of the show, and it's about him trying to not do that. So instead of it being a show about him, like, powering up, in a sense, which he does throughout, it's mainly about him trying to not get murdered, which I think is funny. But yeah, you know, it's he's learning. It's like gaining control, yada yada, which I kind of like. I like that. You know, it gets its points. You know, I think I probably would have put it at like a 7, where you put it at a 6.
Okay.
You know,
and the average score is 7.5.
Pushing things into the 8 category for me is difficult. Most things land at a 7.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so
yeah.
We can go on to the next one. This one, have you seen Chaos Head? This is my number 28.
This anime looks insane. What is this?
Okay, so you have... Okay, this... I don't remember how I discovered it. I know I saw a trailer or something. Somehow, an ad. I don't remember what, but something... It was presented to me, and it caught my attention. This is, as memory serves, bizarre. I didn't finish it. I should, because I think this was a really... As memory serves, it was really unique in some ways. Let me explain.
Average score was 6.3. I'm looking at the synopsis, or I'll let you read it aloud.
Okay.
If you want to, you know.
Well, I'll skip. I'll try to remember with my brain.
Okay. While you do that, I'll read the synopsis.
The protagonist is super weeaboo. He's ultra weeb. I wouldn't quite say he's incel, but he's ultra weeb.
Is he? I have a question. Is it 8th grader syndrome? Like, is he like, yes, the power in my left hand, like, or is it like he just likes weeb stuff?
I think he just likes weeb stuff. He is is to the point where he mathed out how many days of school he can miss and still pass, so he can not go to school, so he can stay at home and like watch anime and not be around people. And he somehow gets involved with supernatural stuff that's like corporations using supernatural powers to like take over the world or something. I really forget. It might be like a Chosen One thing,
This is looking like isekai, but he just stays in Japan.
Yeah, but the thing is, as memory serves, he isn't like just the best randomly. He sucks like the entire time, and he needs help, but he's important for some reason,
Gotcha.
and so people need him to do stuff. But he needs help, and he improves, I think. But he really
Maybe.
is bad. I forget, but it was interesting.
It says a lot that he, being the main character, is not even on the cover on my Emily list. I just want to put that out there. Is that I see one shot of him in all of the episode previews. I think, actually, no, there's more than one. But the one that was visible without me having to expand is literally his back to the camera. And then he's in 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, okay. So, anyway.
Yeah. I should finish this because it was, or probably rewatch it because I don't remember anything, but it was I don't even remember what the problem was. I don't even remember how he got involved with it. But I remember he didn't suck, I think. I remember the protagonist, he wasn't an awful, unlikable guy. He was, because he was an underdog, really, even though he was a chosen one, I think. I forget. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, seems, he's just like, he's meat for the machine. Got it. He's just like, they just gotta throw him in some pit somewhere, and he's like ritual sacrifice. Perfect.
Yeah, that could be. That makes sense. Sure, let's go with that. I didn't even finish it. I got through 8 episodes, and yeah. Anyway, moving on, we have Haruhi Suzumiya Season 1. I gave a 6, so I liked it more. Above that, we have Howl's Moving Castle, which I also gave a 6.
Man, really? A 6?
Remember, 6 is a positive score.
Yeah, I know, but like, there's such a ceiling you could have hit, you know? And I mean, I get it on some aspect, but like, I don't know. I know you don't like. When did you watch Howl's Moving Castle?
I think I was in junior high.
Okay, I don't know. I think a lot of the time, I've heard that genuinely that the book is better. I will say that the average rating is 8.66.
Yeah, pretty high.
I would put it at an 8 personally. Just because, like, and to be fair, 8 is where I would put it on sort of a level with Violet Evergarden. Maybe not like the same level, but when it comes to like animation, and I'm like, yes, the animation is good at a bare minimum and nothing else, it kind of gets pushed up a lot for me. And if everything else is decent and the animation looks nice, it goes into the 8 for me. Howl's Moving Castle takes that category. I watched it recently when I was dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was in Costa Rica, and there was a storm raging about. I liked it, you know? I mean, do you remember much about it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, it's hard. A lot of time has passed. Maybe I'm a different person now. I think the human I was before, like, my first year of college is completely different from who I am now. There was a very strong, even political shift. I turned from being probably middle conservative to very liberal in college.
That's what I ask when people are always worried about and say the children of college. A liberal fine, oh no.
Yeah, it happened. I met people who weren't rich, and I was like, oh wait, the world sucks actually.
This is a strange thing that occurs where people exist in bubbles. It's very weird.
And then you break the bubble and you're like, oh god.
But it turns out
anyway.
It turns out that like 80% of Americans are living a $400 emergency away from bankruptcy. Oh no, what?
Yeah, it's
crazy statistic. Oh no.
Yeah, it's scary.
Money. Anyway, yeah. I don't know if that really is going to affect your review of Howl's Moving Castle, but glad to see you over here, Mark.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
That's fine, you know. It's just like the movie was about Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
And mainly about, you know, I've forgotten her name. Sophie. The main character is Sophie. You know, she gets turned into an old woman, you know, and she's forced to like try to get old womaned. She has a little dog that follows her around, you know, and a scarecrow.
The scarecrow.
Yeah, no, it's just a very pretty movie. I think a lot of the time, because I watched pretty much all Studio Ghibli films that I hadn't seen over when I was dying. Yeah. So I was like, if there's one thing I gotta do, and then I was like, you know, But yeah, no, I think it deserves to be higher. I think that 6 is a little bit of an underrated for it. Maybe like a 7, admittedly, but the 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess
know.
it didn't speak to me as much, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's good. We can move up. Now we're in 25. This is another 6 out of 10. This is Canon. This is another one the same studio, I think, who did Clanad and Air. I like this one a lot more than Air, not as much as Clanad. It's another, romance, shoujo. I thought I had positive feelings towards it. But
know what they also did?
What?
Other than that, other than Clanad and all that? The studio, you're talking about?
What'd they do?
It's Toei Animation.
Oh, that's...
They did Dragon Ball. They did One Piece. They did Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yo, this is a base studio.
No, wait. They didn't do Neon Genesis, actually. I think they were just involved, but it was a whole thing. But yeah, no, they do a lot. They run through a lot. They're like the big gun.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, I like this. I like this one for as memory serves. Again, I watched it in like junior high. It was one of the early, or probably first 10 animes I watched.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I enjoyed it. Yeah.
What is it about?
It's another romance. I think in this one, there's like a forest creature who is like a fox half of the time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You're like, it's this, it's a classic, it's a romance anime. There's a forest creature.
Well, the thing is, like, all of these Air, Canon, and Clanad, they all have supernatural elements to them to separate them out a little bit from just being slice of life straight up. So
I mean, slice of life doesn't have to be real. It doesn't mean it has to be, like, non-fiction,
But yeah, so it's just been a long time. I think really my problem, all of these, they're supposed to be like sad, right? The ones I watched were like tragedies. But this one, it's only 13 episodes, whereas Clanad and Clanad After Story together, they were like 48 episodes. This is only 13. There's just a lot less time to get invested in stuff. So I think that hurt, because yeah, I have words about Clanad when we get there. I have some fucking words about that.
Oh man.
So yeah, we can move on. There's not much to go over here.
We're getting into the 7s, Marcus.
We're getting to the 7s, and here I have Eden of the East is my first one.
I will say that I think that past 7, everything you've rated 7, I will either know the name of, know about, or have watched in its entirety. So, but now we're getting into the stuff.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I should also say
Eden of the East. It's on my watch list. What was it?
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Canon. Its score is 7.07 average. Eden of the East, its average is 7.75. I haven't finished.
Most scores are going to find themselves around the 7 category.
Yeah. I haven't finished Eden of the East. I watched 10 out of 11 episodes. I didn't watch the last episode, but obviously I liked it. I gave it a 7. Thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, a guy has amnesia, and apparently he's rich, and he doesn't remember what he did. I don't even think I think I learned what he did that made him want to lose his memory was something really bad.
Oh, was he? Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, I know the context for the show, so I kind of feel like I know what he did.
Yeah, it was something. You think
the show starts? The show starts off with a terrorist attack, doesn't it?
I don't remember at all. I remember he wakes up naked in Washington, D.C., like outside the White House or something.
Damn, we got that alien abduction.
Yeah, I interesting. I think did he have a gun with him? I don't even remember. I also saw this a long time ago. But yeah, I had positive feelings. It was like a mystery, I guess, because he had amnesia.
Yeah, seems okay. It's on the list for me. I will say that I've seen. I remember I watched the cover art. I saw the cover art, and I was like, "This seems like something I should watch at some point." But yeah, no, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It looks promising. It's 7.75. And it's technically not reaching the 8, but it's close.
Yeah. So we can move on. This might be the most controversial pick on my entire list.
It 100%.
It's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood at a 7 out of 10. I finished this one. I think this is the high. Yeah, it's ranked number 1 on my anime list, 9.1. With their rated score, it is. People love this.
And that's a weighted score. I would. It is also ranked number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that.
Yeah, I've gone over it in the past episodes just kind of sporadically, but I wasn't super into the fight scenes. I just watched Avatar before this, which has maybe the best fight scenes ever animated. And this was a little bit lacking for me compared to that. But the story was good, and the animation was good. The voice acting was good. I should say I watch all of these in English because I have stupid brain.
The
Japanese.
dub for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is pretty good.
Yeah,
I will say that. As one of the things that carried it into being one of the highest rated is that first of all, the Japanese dub and everything is also great. It's just it managed to cross that boundary a little bit.
Yeah, it could reach the idiots like me who hear Japanese and they think it's text to speech.
Yeah, you have a hard time hearing tone and like stuff like that. And that's fine. I think that's a learned because there's small differences that occur from every like language, just like in terms of like how we communicate human emotion, and it's just what it is.
Yeah,
I know the dub is great though. I know the dub is actually very enjoyable for this anime.
It's good. It is a good anime. I'm glad I watched it. I like it. A 7. It's positive. I enjoyed this. But I mean, I don't know. I think that score is in context compared directly to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I would give a 10 out of 10 if it was on my anime list. So
I will say that I think you rating it as a 7 makes a lot of sense, and that's fine, Marcus, because that's great. But I personally would give it. Man, I'm thinking about it. It's like it is not my favorite anime. And I don't think it's anyone's favorite anime, but everyone always puts it in the top 5, which is the funny thing for most people. Like on average, it's always going to find itself there for any number of reasons. First of all, because it's like the pacing for something that is 64 episodes, it does not feel like any amount of that time is really wasted.
That's true. The pacing was awesome. To
have something of that length that doesn't actually feel like it's purposely being slow is really good. I like, I will say that I don't particularly, there are some fight scenes in this that I very much enjoy. Pretty much everything with Mustang is very much enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, he has the hypest shit. If we're ranking hype moments in anime, he has like top 5 for sure. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, he's great. I also like, first of all, the overall message of the anime I like. It's like the whole idea is that it's like you should do everything that is within your... I don't know, it's oddly enough, it's crazy to think that the final message of the anime was try to be yourself, which is kind of crazy. But they did it through like biblical references and like it was very strange. Because the whole idea is that like the villain of the anime at the end of it stole everything from everybody else and never ever tried to actually improve himself. And Alphonse and they while they used alchemy, which is technically like not necessarily something, like they tried to obtain information that wouldn't actually be available to them because they're not a god, right? So they lost part of themselves as a result of that, and then only by like fully trying to like giving it back was he able to like be his best self, was the whole point by the end of that anime. But I didn't watch for the fight scenes, but there are some great fight scenes. I like everything also with Scar. Scar does some good shit. Yeah. And their dad, pretty fucking good.
Yeah. All the characters are phenomenal. They're all really good.
Yeah. I think 7 is... man, it's like, because it's crazy, because I feel like there are very few things that I would put on my list that I would actually say are 10s. And I don't even know if I would actually, even though I love Mob Psycho, it's probably one of my favorite animes, I would not even put that at a 10. That places itself at a 9, probably. Fullmetal Alchemist probably also at a 9 or an 8 for me, personally. 7, though, insane. But also, I understand, Marcus, you watched Avatar. And Avatar, while it's been a long time...
I love Avatar. Anyway, Avatar is not an anime, unfortunately. We can't tell.
I mean, it's in animation.
Yeah.
What did you rate it? 10 out of 10? You already gave the rating.
I gave it 10. It's a 10 out of 10, okay? You can't change my mind. It's so good. Okay, we can move on. Next. Yep. I said Clannad was my first anime. That's technically not true. This technically, before I knew what anime was, a friend watched the show and he was like, bro, you gotta watch this. This is incredible. So I watched this when I was in elementary school. I was super young. We didn't finish it. Like, it was like during a couple of slumber parties.
You
but
didn't finish it? Oh my
No,
god, you have to finish it.
I think I agree with you, because this, talking about hype, this might be just hype. The anime, the freaking Kamuna, right? The guy's brother, who he is one of the most incredible characters ever. He's so cool. Just, at least as memory serves. Maybe he's cringe now. I don't know, but
I can't spoil it.
Okay.
But I just need to let you know. I will say it again. You need to finish the anime.
Yeah, it's. I know some things in the end. I know the mechs get like galaxy size and they throw galaxies at each other.
That was the bit.
Okay.
I was gonna say, instead they just like the show does not. It just goes, oh, we're playing in this space anyway. Why don't we just keep making them bigger? It's like, okay, but yeah, definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I probably should, because like I said, I think this is literally the first. This was before I knew what anime was. This was a cartoon to me, right, when I watched it, and it's good. The hype shit. Mechs are cool. Animation was good as far as I remember. I liked the characters. I said Kamina, fucking epic guy. He has the coolest glasses. Yeah, I guess we can move on to this. Okay, Fate Stay Night. It's a 7 out of 10. I also watched this a while ago.
I will say that you can rank them within the numbers. I just want to let you know that. You can like move them up and down your list.
Okay.
I just want to let you know, because looking at everything on the 7 category being above Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is causing me great pain. Anyway.
We should also
Fate Stay Night, which has an extraordinarily confusing chronology, so much so that I literally did not even bother watching it.
That's fair. I should also say, Gurren Lagann has an 8.6 on my anime list, and Fate Stay Night, we're talking about now, has a 7.2. So, apparently Fate Stay Night, as I understand it, is like the entry to get into the Fate universe, which is complex as shit. But it's also, I've heard, it's kind of a bad anime from people who like anime. But I did somehow just happen to watch the entry point, and I didn't know what good or bad was, I guess, when I watched it. So I gave it a 7. I thought it was pretty cool. I think I liked the fight scenes.
I mean, good or bad is ultimately always up to you, Marcus, because it's completely subjective. So it's just the only difference is that opinions can shift over time with knowledge.
That's true. I like the character designs. I love the way Saber looks. She's awesome.
When it comes to characters I always recognize, I do admit that, is that if somebody, even though I've never fucking played or watched any of Fate, if you show me a picture, I'm like, oh, that character's from Fate. I like, no. Especially if it's you're talking about the girl with the blue armor, right?
Yeah, the blue armor, the blonde hair. She looks really cool. Yeah. I love like feminine armor, feminine fantasy armor that's like full plate. I really like it. And she's got that. So I like it. Yeah, it was interesting. So you haven't gone into Fate at all?
I looked at the fact that the mess for how you're supposed to watch it was worse than Brotherhood made me not want to. Because the explanation was like, you should not have to have that many restarts in order to get something right.
That's fair.
Like, that does not make any sense at all.
I will say, this anime, this one, Fate Stay Night, when I watch it, it wasn't confusing. Like, it made sense. I got the story. Yeah. Apparently, I'm missing a ton of context or whatever, but it made sense to me.
Like, that little bit bothers me.
I don't know. I didn't feel like I was missing context, so it felt like, oh, I get the story. I understand. There's a tournament of, like, super powerful entities throughout time, and whoever wins the tournament gets a wish.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Wish.
Yeah, I understand. That makes sense. And the main character doesn't want to kill other people, even though that's the best strategy, because the people are defensive and their, like, warriors are really strong.
But how do you win?
You win by it's a last man standing. So, like, if
but he's in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a tournament. So you can either kill, like, the people who are summoning the heroes, or you can kill the hero, and then that person's knocked out of the tournament. It's not even a tournament, really. It's a free-for-all, I guess.
He's in a free-for-all where he doesn't want to kill anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't want to kill the people, but he will kill the avatars, like the heroes, that get summoned.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, because that doesn't actually kill them. It just like sends them back or wherever they're from.
Yeah, something like that. He doesn't want to kill humans. He will, but killing the humans is easier because if you kill the human, then the avatar also gets sent back. So the strategy for most people is to kill the human and just get past the avatar. That's not what he wants to do, and it's good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I have no doubt that it is a bare minimum decent, just because of the people who rage about it. But I also think it's probably massively overrated. So I'm not gonna.
That's probably true. There's so much Fate stuff. I think it was originally a visual novel. I think
it was.
Yeah.
I know the whole. I had the whole history of the Fate series broken down for me, and then I still didn't want to watch it.
Yeah,
it actually made me not want to watch it more.
I think that's totally fair, as I understand it. It's so complicated, so dense. But this anime,
I just don't want to get involved.
Yeah. No, I mean that's fair. I mean, but like I said, this one you can watch it and it makes sense. You know, it's fine. And
it's fine.
So yeah, that was.
Good to know. If I ever did want to, I know. And if I do watch something, it'll probably be that. So
fair. Okay, and with that is the first 20 of my anime list. I think we can call this part 1.
Oh, you don't want to? Okay, but
we can continue. Okay. We can continue, but for editing purposes, I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll just pick right back up, and then we'll just So that's what we're gonna do. So thank you for joining us this week. Next week, join us for my top 20 as we talk more about anime, because we are weebs.
And My Hero Academia Season 2 is next.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Why'd you rank only Season 2?